Hey, I'm Ad from X Automation. In this video, I'm going to show you some ideas and insights about the process of automating meeting notes, meeting follow-ups, and the potential that you can have when you integrate that with your CRM, with your project management systems. Okay, so let's get started. As always, I always like to have this kind of mind map, just again, sharing some thoughts ideas about this specific process, right? So I just want to start with like the impact of having a very inefficient meeting process, especially if you are in sales or in customer service or any type of, especially on client facing roles where you have to spend a lot of time in calls. Depending, like you can have one call after the other throughout the entire day, and it takes a lot of time, of course, to not only to have the calls, but also to do the things that you have to do after each call, right? To add some action items, to add some follow-up reminders, etc., etc. So if you do all of that manually, if you have to keep remembering to follow up with leads, with clients, forget about kind of taking notes about action items from those calls, you're going to start missing deadlines. You're going to start missing sales, losing sales. You're going to start kind of course, not delivering the tasks that you said you're going to do, right? So that's really bad. So the meeting process again is not just about the what happens inside, like during the calls, during the meetings, but mainly after the meeting, mainly after those calls, right? So it's usually a very time consuming process. And of course, it's usually a very manual process that you have to go through after each call that you have, right? And once you start building the workflow, the automation after the calls, after the meetings, then you can start connecting the calls with your project management system, with your CRM. So you can really start building the workflows of creating those action items and those follow-up reminders after the calls, right? So that's why, like, once you start automating the process, you're gonna save so much time and of course an effort on doing that. And also, not only that, I think the most important part is you're gonna have a way more efficient sales process if you're in sales, way more efficient kind of customer support, customer service process if you are in CS, for example, right? So and then of course, as you're gonna automate that part, you can use your time. That's very precious. You can use your time on on the actual task, right? On those action items, and also on, of course, following up with those clients and closing deals instead of creating those items, creating those follow-ups and everything else manually, right? So that's like the most important parts of automation, right? Not only, of course, you can save time, but it's how you're gonna use that time that you are saving from those manual tasks, right? And that's especially when you think about those workflows, it has direct connection to sales, to more revenue and more profit to your company, right? Great. So that would be like the first part. And I'll say like the first step of automating, creating this workflow is signing up for a note taker platform, right? And that's like very easy to do. You can use a software like Otter. I use Fireflies here at my agency and my company at X Automation. We use Fireflies, not only of course myself, but also all our team members. For every call, it can be like just a sales call to also client calls as well. So not only you can record a call, you can have the video. For example, we build automations, right? And one of the most important parts for us is understanding our clients' processes. And sometimes when we are on calls with clients, they share their screen, right? And as we are recording that, we can really use that recording to then build the automation that's gonna, of course, be that's gonna match with their current process that they just showed us during the call, right? So that's why the recording part is really important to us, having that video. But not only that, you can get instant transcription of the call, right? Then you can, like, what is really helpful also, you can search on the transcription, right? But also all those tools they have an AI note taker, and the AI note taker not only is going to get the transcription of the call, but also summarize the call, get the action items of the call, and all the key important parts of the call, right? And that's really, really helpful. And yeah, and like this in this section here, the like action item extraction, the AI it's really smart and it's becoming, of course, smarter every day. And then we can get the exact item that we should work on, who is responsible for that item. So you can have like a summary of all the items for each person on the call. And then of course you can really get you don't need to, of course, this is a note taker, so you don't need to keep writing your notes during the call to remember like what are the action items that you need to work on after the call, right? And also not only that, as you are getting the notes from the call, getting the transcription, etc., if you are doing, for example, a sales call, then when you go to build like a proposal, for example, you can have all the context there. You have all this. You can have the call summary. You can have all the important points of the call that the client shared with you, right? So let's say that the client start telling more about their company, about their bottlenecks, their issues, and how. And then of course you can match that with how your company can solve their problems and issues, right? So that's why not only the action items, but also the actual summary and transcription of the call, you can use that to create a proposal, to create a contract, for example, right? And then the fun part starts when you start integrating, for example, let's say that you're using Fireflies or Otter, right? You can start integrating with all your other tech stack, right? So you can use tools like Zapier, Make, Pipedream, and some other ones, some other automation tools to connect everything. And then what you can do once you start connecting your note taker platform to your project management platform, you can start adding the action items directly into your boards, right? You can extract the action items and create tasks for you and your team inside, let's say if you use Monday, inside Asana, ClickUp, etc., right? And that's really powerful because again, you don't need to do that manually, right? So not only you can create those action items, you can create those tasks, but as you have the call transcription, as you have the call summary, you can add those summaries and then transcription as a context for that task, right? You can even add like the call recording link if you need to go back to the call and better understand about that task specifically, right? That way, like of course, you're making sure that you are keeping your project boards up to date always, right? After each call. So you don't need to again do it, you don't need to keep doing that manually. And most importantly, you are making sure that no action item will be missed, right? And that's really important, of course, to deliver those items to your clients, right? Another integration that is really helpful is with your CRM. Okay, so let's say that you are having client calls, and then or or you have a call with a new lead, with a new client, or a prospect. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can capture the meeting notes, the summaries with the client contacts, and you can add that to the CRM. Okay, and of course, when you update the CRM with the call transcription, for example, then you can automatically set up a follow-up reminder for you and your team, or you can even create an automation to follow up automatically after, let's say, 3 days after the call, right? One thing that I do here internally for my company is that after each sales call, I add the call summary and action items to the CRM for that lead as an update, but also the call summary, the call recording, the recording link. And also what I do is I use the call transcription to create the first draft of the sales proposal, what we call here the automation plan, right? Because again, in our case, during the call, the client is going to share all about their company, their bottlenecks, etc. So I use that, and I use another step, another AI, to create the first draft of the automation plan of the sales proposal inside Panadoc. This just a draft. Then of course myself or our sales guy is going to go there make sure that everything's there, is not missing, and then we can finish the sales proposal before sending. So imagine this, right? So we make sure that we have all these steps being done automatically, and we don't need to create the sales proposal from scratch, which of course takes a lot of time. So you can use the call recordings to do that, and that's really helpful. And again, we do all of that connected to the CRM, right? And also to our, in this case, to our document platform, which is Panadoc. And then, of course, as I always like to say, is once you have those automations up and running, then a nice consequence of having all those automations is you are able to track everything. And as you are able to track it, you can know how to optimize it, right? So once you start getting all those calls, recordings, and of course connected to the project management system, connected to the CRM, you can start tracking and analyzing KPIs like number of meetings, meeting duration, how much time are you what is the percentage of time that your sales guy is talking versus the client's talking, and like some like small details like that if you start getting all that data, you can know how, where, and how you can improve on your sales process, right? You can even start using AI to analyze the call transcript and make recommendations on how to improve those calls, right? Let's say that you have a call recording from a sales call that didn't close, right? Then you can start adding those transcriptions to another AI. You can ask the AI, okay, like why do you think this call didn't close, or like what we could have done better during the call, right? And you can start collecting all those insights. That's really, really powerful, right? And you can only do that if you record those calls, and again, you can do that workflow, of course, automatic, like as an automation, so you don't have to do that manually, right? So again, it's very, very powerful. You can really improve your sales process. You can really improve your customer support, customer relationship process, which of course it's gonna help you improve the efficiency of your company, but also like the top line as well. Yeah, that's it. That's it. If you need more details, if you need to know how to do that for your company, feel free to reach out to us so we can better understand more about your process. Thank you.